Hi friends, it's Deanna Williston with our Blooming Catholic Life. Let's dive in. We're still in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 20. Now we're going to look at verses 29 through 30. Just two little lines there. What are they going to say to us today? Let's open in prayer to open our hearts, open our minds, and beg God to turn us towards Him and give us right faith, certain hope, charity, and knowledge. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Sume glorioso Deus, illumina tenebras cordis mehi, et da mihi fidem rectum, spem certum et caritatem perfectum. Domini ut facium tuum sanctum, et verax mandatum. Amen. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. And when they went out from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, two blind men sitting by the wayside heard that Jesus passed by. And they cried out, saying, O Lord, thou Son of David, have mercy on us. And when they went out from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, two blind men, sitting by the wayside, heard that Jesus passed by. And they cried out, saying, O Lord, thou Son of David, have mercy on us. And when they went out from Jericho, a great multitude followed him. And behold, two blind men, sitting by the wayside, heard that Jesus passed by. And they cried out, saying, O Lord, thou Son of David, have mercy on us. Now, friends, what stood out to me here on our first look at this is Jericho. Did we know he was in Jericho? Did I remember any of that? I know he was heading up to Jerusalem. And he was doing a lot of teaches. If he was in Jericho, I've kind of missed it. Well, here, chapter 19, it said, he departed from Galilee and came into the coast of Judea beyond Jordan. And in chapter 20, verse 17, it told us he was going up to Jerusalem. So how did he end up in Jericho? And why is that mentioned? Well, is that important? So we might want to refresh our memories a little bit on Jericho, because suddenly a great number of people, he had taken the 12 aside there, even though the moms were still apparently nearby, but he had taken the 12 aside and was talking to them. And then they're leaving Jericho, and there's a great multitude following him. Where did this multitude come from? We don't know. So we're going to go back and look at Jericho. And it's very interesting as well. Two blind men sitting by the wayside. They heard that Jesus passed by. How did they hear that? Were people calling his name as they passed by? How did they hear it? Was it a rumor going around town? Did they hear the murmuring? I'm guessing if there was a great multitude following him when they were passing by on the road, maybe people were murmuring about Jesus, talking about him in the back lines. I don't know what this is like. Is it like the March for Life? And you have many little side conversations going behind the leaders? I don't know. So what's going on that they could hear? And then they cried out, saying, O Lord, thou Son of David, have mercy on us. So did they think they were near the front of the line? Did they have faith that Jesus would hear them no matter what? What did this look like? Did they try and run ahead to the beginning? They're sitting by the wayside, and yet they're just going to cry out. So they're not even really on the road. They're on the wayside. They're probably not in the front of the line if we have multitudes following Jesus. So they're probably not in the front of the line if they hear people murmuring about Jesus. So they're out on the wayside. They're off in the margins. It's not like they can see him when he comes by to know it's him. And they're just going to stay where they are. They're sitting by the wayside and they cry. It's not like they get up and just run after the multitude or something. We don't hear that. They're sitting by the wayside and they cry out to him. It's very interesting. And they just have faith that Jesus is going to hear them. That's so beautiful. Oh, friends, I have misplaced my phone. I don't have it on me. So, can we find Jericho in here without that? Or should we leave that to next time? Let's see if there's what kind of indexes we have in the back of our Bible here. Well, there's a succession of popes, powerful novena to the infant Jesus. Ooh. Now it says you can do a novena of 9 hours, instead of 9 days. The prayer should, if possible, be repeated at the same part of the hour, every hour, for 9 consecutive hours. And that is right in here, right before the succession of popes. That's beautiful. Regina Caeli is here. Anima Christi, the Angelus, morning offerings of the Apostleship of Prayer, prayer to St. Michael the Archangel, act of faith, act of hope, charity, the Memorare. Let's see, the order of books of the Old Testament. Is that going to help me? No, I mean, there's no Book of Jericho. That's not going to help me. Oh, there's a historical and chronological index. Interesting. Oh, I love this chart. There's a chart back here that tells you the, I'm guessing that's I don't know what AM means. It's probably not date, but it gives you who the high priest is, who the king of Judah is, or high priest, line of Judah. This one over here, there's a section that tells you the high priest name, and it tells you about the line of David. This is really cool. I'm going to have to get back here to these historical indexes more. Okay, this is great to come back and refer to. AM signifies Anno Mundi, that is in the year of the world. Oh, so it starts with 1 for Adam. So it doesn't do BC and 80. It's just straight chronological. Very interesting. No, so that is the end of, while I'm finding that wild, and I love that, I don't know. I don't actually know where Jericho is. It's terrible to say. I'm really loving that. Well, Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, so maybe I will look for... It's probably in the book of Joshua, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's come up to the front then. Start flipping through. There is merit to my other Bible that has tabs on it. And even with the tabs, knowing how it's set up helps, because the tabs, I mean, they overlap each other. In the smaller books, it's still hard to find. There is something for knowing the order, but, I mean, you still have to do some flipping around even with tabs. Oh, goodness. I love all the notes I'm seeing that I have written in here. This is the Bible that I write in, is the one I use with you to study. So if I come across any note or anything that really jumps out at me, I write it in here. This is my study Bible. It has the study notes given by them as well as study notes that I have written in as well. Let's see, I feel like I'm getting really close. Yep, here I am. Right here I am. I mean, I literally turned to chapter 16, and it says, "And the lot of the sons of Joseph fell from the Jordan over against Jericho, and the waters thereof on the east." So there were many sons of Joseph falling there. Let's see. So it's giving us the borders of all the towns. Manassas. It's giving us the lot of the sons of Joseph and the borders of the tribes of Ephraim. Well, that's not going to be helpful. Caleb's petition, the cities of Judah, list of the kings slain by Moses and Joshua, Joshua dividing the land, kings of the north are overthrown, oh man, this is so awkward. It's a great refresher if you've never gone. Just go back and read the summaries at the beginnings of all the chapters. Aha! Chapter 6 involves Jericho there. So let's go ahead and read Jericho. Oh. Let's start at Joshua. We're going to start Joshua chapter 3. We're going to read these whole chapters. No joke. We're going to go ahead and read these right now. And Joshua rose before the daylight and removed the camp, and they departed from Shittim and came to the Jordan, he and all the children of Israel, and they abode there for 3 days. They abode there for 3 days, waiting to cross the Jordan. After which the heralds went through the midst of the camp and began to proclaim, when you shall see the ark of the covenant of the Lord of your God, and the priests of the race of Levi carrying it, rise up you also, and follow them as they go before. And let there be between you and the ark the space of 2,000 cubits, that you may see it afar off, and know that which way you must go, for you have not gone this way before. And take care that you come not near the ark. This is so beautiful. It's bringing to mind the resurrection and following our Lord Jesus Christ. Keep your eyes on him, friends. And Joshua said to the people, be ye sanctified, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you. And he said to his priests, take up the ark of the covenant and go before the people. And they obeyed his commands and took it up and walked before them. I wish all of our priests would walk with the ark of the covenant in holiness. And the Lord said to Joshua, this day will I begin to exalt thee before Israel, that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I am with thee also. And do thou command the priests that carry the ark of the covenant, and say to them, when you shall have entered on the part of the water of the Jordan, stand in it. And Joshua said to the children of Israel, come hither and hear the word of the Lord your God. And again he said, by this you shall know that the Lord, the living God, is in the midst of you, and that he shall destroy before your sight the Canaanite and the Hethite, and the Hivite, and the Pharaohite, and the Gergesite, and also the Jebusite, and the Amorite. Behold, the ark of the covenant of the Lord of all the earth shall go before you into the Jordan. We all need to be baptized and washed clean, friends, don't we? Prepare ye 12 men of the tribes of Israel, one of every tribe. And when the priests that carry the ark of the Lord of the God of the whole earth shall set the soles of their feet in the waters of the Jordan, the waters that are beneath shall run down and go off, and those that come from above shall stand together upon a heap. It's interesting here that the priests, just their feet are going to be washed here. So the people went out of their tents to pass over the Jordan, and the priests that carried the ark of the covenant went on before them. And as soon as they came into the Jordan, their feet were dipped in the part of the water. Now the Jordan, it being harvest time, had filled the banks of the channel. The waters that came down from above stood in one place, and swelling up like a mountain were seen afar off of the city that is called Adam, to the place of Sarthan. But those that were beneath ran down into the sea of the wilderness, which is now called the Dead Sea, until they wholly failed. And the people marched over against Jericho, and the priests that carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord stood girded upon the dry ground in the midst of the Jordan, and all the people passed over through the channel that which dried up. And when they were passed over, the Lord said to Joshua, choose 12 men, one of every tribe, and command them to take out of the midst of the Jordan where the feet of the priests stood 12 very hard stones, which you shall set in the place of the camp where you shall pitch your tents this night. And Joshua called 12 men whom he had chosen out of the children of Israel, one out of every tribe. And he said to them, go before the ark of the Lord your God to the midst of the Jordan, and carry from thence every man a stone on your shoulders. It's going to be big, according to the number of the children of Israel, that it may be a sign among you, that when your children shall ask you tomorrow, saying, what means these stones? You shall answer them, the waters of the Jordan ran off before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, when it passed over the same. Therefore were these stones set for a monument of the children of Israel forever. The children of Israel therefore did as Joshua commanded them, carrying out of the channel of the Jordan 12 stones as the Lord had commanded him, according to the number of the children of Israel, upon the place wherein they camped, and there they set them. And Joshua put 12 other stones in the midst of the channel of the Jordan, where the priests stood that carried the ark of the covenant, and there they are until this present day. If they are really there until this present day, this very day now, friends, I'd like you to let me know in the comments below. Now the priests that carried the ark stood in the midst of the Jordan till all things were accomplished, which the Lord had commanded Joshua to speak to the people. And Moses had said to him, and the people made haste and passed over. And when they had all passed over, the ark of the Lord also passed over, and the priests went before the people. The children of Reuben also, and Gad, and half the tribe of Manasseh went armed before the children of Israel, as Moses had commanded them. and 40,000 fighting men by their troops, their bands, marched through the plains and fields of the city of Jericho. And in that day the Lord magnified Joshua in the sight of all Israel, that they should fear him as they had feared Moses while he lived. And he said to him, Command the priests that carry the ark of the covenant to come up out of the Jordan. And he commanded them, saying, Come up ye out of the Jordan. And when they that carried the ark of the covenant of the Lord were come up and began to tread on the dry ground, the waters returned into the channel, and ran as they went before. And the people came up out of the Jordan the 10th day of the first month, and camped in Gilgal, over against the east side of the city of Jericho. And the 12 stones which they had taken out of the channel of the Jordan, Joshua pitched in the Gilgal. And he said to the children of Israel, When your children shall ask their fathers tomorrow, and who shall say to them, What mean these stones? You shall teach them and say, Israel passed over this Jordan through the dry channel, the Lord your God driving up the waters thereof in your sight until you passed over, and as he had done before in the Red Sea, which he dried till we passed through, that all the people of the earth may learn the most mighty hand of the Lord, that you may fear the Lord your God forever. Now when all the kings of the Amorites who dwell beyond the Jordan westward, and all the kings of the Canaan who possessed the places near the great sea, had heard that the Lord had dried up the waters of the Jordan before the children of Israel till they passed over, their heart failed them, and there remained no spirit in them, fearing the coming of the children of Israel. At that time the Lord said to Joshua, Make thee knives of stone, and circumcise the second time the children of Israel. He did what the Lord had commanded, and he circumcised the children of Israel in the hill of the foreskins. Now this is the cause of the second circumcision. All the people that came out of Egypt that were males, all the men fit for war, died in the desert during the time of the long going about in their way. Now these were all circumcised, but the people that were born in the desert during the 40 years of the journey in the wide wilderness were uncircumcised, till all they that were consumed that had not heard the voice of the Lord, and to whom he had sworn before, that he would not show them the land flowing with milk and honey. The children of these succeeded in the place of their fathers, and were circumcised by Joshua, for they were uncircumcised even as they were born, and no one had circumcised them in the way. Now after they were all circumcised, they remained in the same place of this camp until they were healed. So they're making the sign of the covenant. They are renewing that covenant vow with God, and they stayed there until they were all healed. And the Lord said to Joshua, now remember, in this time, all those people were frightened of the majesty of the Lord. And one would hope that this would turn the battle. Who would fight against the people who had such a mighty God behind them? You would think they would run in fear. Let's see how this plays out. These people are afraid of God, and let's see how this is. And the Lord said to Joshua, This day I have taken away from you the reproach of Egypt. So the covenant's anew, right? And the name of the place was called Gilgal until this present day. And the children of Israel abode in Gilgal, and they kept the phase on the 14th day of the month at evening in the plains of Jericho. And they ate on the next day unleavened bread of the corn of the land, and frumenty of the same year. And the manna ceased after they ate the corn of the land. Neither did the children of Israel use that food any more, but they ate of the corn of the present year of the land of Canaan. And when Joshua was in the field of the city of Jericho, he lifted up his eyes, and he saw a man standing over against him, holding a drawn sword. And he went to him and said, Art thou one of ours, or one of our adversaries? And he answered, No, but I am prince of the host of the Lord, and now I am come. Tradition has this as Saint Michael, but I have no idea if that's true. That's just a note in here. Oh, actually, it says in here. It's in the note. It says that Saint Michael is the prince of the people of Israel. See Daniel 10:21. I am the prince of the host of the Lord, and now I am come. Joshua fell on his face to the ground, and worshipping said, What saith my Lord to his servant? Loose, said he, thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereupon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did was as commanded to him. Now Jericho was closed up, shut up, and fenced for fear of the children of Israel. No man dared go out or come in. But the Lord said to Joshua, Behold, I have given into thy hands Jericho, and the king thereof, and all the valiant men. Go around the city, all ye fighting men, once a day. So shall ye do for 6 days. On the 7th day the priest shall take the 7 trumpets, which are used in the Jubilee. The Jubilee that proclaims the year of joy and mercy. These are the trumpets that they are going to sound. So the people, when they were afraid of God, they built up walls and fences to keep him out, to keep out the people of God. God is saying, no, this is holy land. Through St. Michael, he's saying, this is holy land. Take your shoes off. This is holy land. So go, and he's giving them this message. When we listen to God, when we are listening to God, when God is speaking to us in our hearts, do we make ourselves different? Look, I didn't today. I'm still wearing my sweatshirt from I was raking leaves earlier. I didn't go and put on my prayer sweater. But when I go into a church, I do put on a veil. I need to remember that even when I'm praying at home, I should be doing something a little bit different. Now, I pray constantly throughout the day, so that's not practical. Every 5 seconds, take on and off, the coverings that keep my clothes nice. But perhaps there's a little interior piece. We did use our opening prayer, but perhaps there is something we do when we're going to intentionally sit down and pray. Do we make ourselves different? Do we do something different? That's a good lesson right there. And on the seventh day, the priest shall take the 7 trumpets. Why 7? It's also the day of rest, when things were perfect, and the Lord took the day of rest, and they're going to take the trumpets used in the Jubilee of Mercy, right? And they shall go before the Ark of the Covenant, and you shall go about the city 7 times. 7 times 7 is infinity, and the priest shall sound the trumpets, and when the voice of the trumpet shall give a longer and broken tune, and shall sound in your ears, all the people shall shout together with a very great shout, and the walls of the city shall fall to the ground, and they shall enter in every one at the place against which they stand. So they're not being called to force it down. They're not being called to do anything by themselves, but to trust in the Lord and walk around blowing trumpets. This is it. This is it. They're going to have to be called really to have great faith. And then Joshua the son of Nun called the priests and said to them, take the ark of the covenant and let 7 other priests take the 7 trumpets of the Jubilee and march before the ark of the Lord. And he said to the people, go encompass the city armed, marching before the ark of the Lord. And when Joshua had ended his words, and the 7 priests blew the 7 trumpets before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and all the armed men went before, and the rest of the common people followed the ark, and the sound of the trumpet was heard on all sides. But Joshua commanded the people, saying, you shall not shout, nor shall your voice be heard, nor any word go out of your mouth until the day come wherein I shall say to you, cry and shout. So perhaps those people in the street didn't like the blind men calling out yet. They were like, not time yet. It's not time yet. I don't know what's going on here. So the ark of the Lord went about the city once a day, and returning into the camp abode there. And Joshua, rising before the day, the priests took up the ark of the Lord, and 7 of them 7 trumpets, which are used in the Jubilee, and they went before the ark of the Lord, walking and sounding the trumpets. And the armed men went before them, and the rest of the common people followed the ark and blew the trumpets. Hey, wait, so they stopped in Jericho on their way to Jerusalem. And when he gets to Jerusalem, remember, Palm Sunday, they're waving the palms, saying that the king is coming into the city as he crosses through those stoned walls, and the people are shouting triumphantly. There is maybe there's some symbolism, maybe there's something to this. But the 7th day, rising up early, they went about the city as it was ordered 7 times. And when in the 7th, going about the priests, sounded with the trumpets, Joshua said to all Israel, shout, for the Lord hath delivered the city to you. Beautiful. And let this city be an anathema, and all things that are in it to the Lord. Let only Rahab the harlot live with all that are with her in the house, for she that hid the messengers whom we sent. But beware lest ye touch aught those things that are forbidden, and ye be guilty of transgression, all the camp of Israel be under sin. So remember, they're going to be able to go in. Now, in this time, they did rise up, and they did kill all that were in the city, except that one person who had to help them, and they were forbidden from taking any of the treasure. Do we remember that? They were forbidden from taking it. So is this what the people think is going to happen when Jesus goes up into Jerusalem? Do they think that he is going to capture the city? And who do they think he's going to murder? Do they think he's going to murder all the Romans, that he's going to fight the Romans and take them all out of the city, except for those who were faithful and helped him? Is this what they're thinking is going to happen? This may put us in the mindset of the people. There has to be a reason that it had told us about that. Very interesting. So now I'm just going to be thinking of that Jericho as we go in here. Yes. because Jesus is almost there. So this great multitude is now following him. And these two blind men are calling out, saying, "O Lord, thou Son of David, have mercy on us." And what are they doing? Why are they crying that out? Interesting. I know. God bless you and keep you, friends. May he make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the good Lord bless us. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.